So you started hearing about the Akashic Record. Somehow it has come into your field. Somehow you landed upon this video and you're curious. Now this video is going to exactly explain you what the Akashic Records is, how to connect to them, that it is easier than ever to connect to them, and even a way for you to access them literally from today on. So if you are willing to open your own records for yourself, in this video, I will show you a way to actually do that. And why am I sharing this? Now, probably just like you, I was just living life, I was meditating, I was open to spirituality, but as soon as I heard the Akashic Records, that was something I never heard. But it started appearing in my field. Somebody that I was dating started to give me a book about the Akashic Records. Then I started hearing it in a podcast. Then I started hearing about someone else. It just started appearing in my field. Now, if that is happening to you right now, congratulations. You are ready to enter the records. This is a field that only becomes available to somebody, and especially in this continuous kind of way where it just seems to pop up when you are becoming available to it, when life or when your soul actually believes you are ready to go to the next level. And this was definitely for me the next level when I started coming to it. And I started liking it so much. Since the 5 years now that I'm practicing, I started to really involve myself and started asking so many questions. Now, eventually, that led to me becoming a teacher in this. And now, for the last 3 years, I have guided over 100 people into the records. And I'm just ready to share the next level of that, which is absolutely beautiful. It has been one of the biggest gifts in my life. So to be able to gift this to possibly you and to everybody else who is interested is a huge blessing for me. So my name is Philip Elisa, and I'm here to really guide you into what the Akashic Records is and how you get to know all of this. It's so beautiful. But let me stop talking about how beautiful it is and actually let's dive in. Because the most time when you hear about the records, you immediately think about a library. A lot of people think about the library. In the Bible, this same place is called the Book of Life, right? It's about a book. It's about somewhere where something is recorded. And a lot of times they call it the library of the soul or the library of light. Now, I have to disappoint you. It is not a library. But for humans, for us, it's very easy to call it a library because then we have a three-dimensional picture and an understanding of what it does. Well, actually, it is not a library. It is a place where a lot of things are recorded and stored. It is a place of light. But actually, this place is completely interwoven into reality. So to understand it, use the library metaphor. But to actually, if you want to say, but where is it really? It's actually interwoven in reality. When you go and when you look at, for example, the atom, and when you zoom into the atom and you go to the proton and to the electron, and there is a huge amount of space in between the proton and the electron. That's actually 99% space. We and everything in matter here is 99% space. That is physics. But that is not empty space. That is energetic space. There is a lot of energy flowing there. So there's a lot of energy that flows straight to us, including your Wi-Fi signal that probably is able to receive this video, or your 5G network, right? There's just a lot of energy flowing in the invisible field. And humans are not the first species that created such an invention called invisible light streaming through the air. There is a lot of light. And actually, when you go into physics, you just see that the eye is only tuned to such a specific small slither of reality, but all the other slits of reality are still here, are still available. We are just not able to perceive them with our physical eyes, but we are able to perceive them with our inner faculties. So know that in truth, this library, this place where things are recorded, is actually moving straight through our reality. And that's why we can access it. Because when we learn how to tune into it, that thing that just runs through our atoms anyway, we can start accessing it. The main purpose of it is to store what is happening in the universe on multiple layers, on multiple dimensions. So it doesn't only store your current life, but it also stores your all of your past lives and all of the moments in between your life. Because your soul, when it leaves Earth, it doesn't stop existing. You cannot stop existing. It goes into another dimension. That dimension is also recorded. Eventually, it will come back into an incarnation if it needs to, or if it is invited to, and it will go back into a body. And all of that is recorded. So I can ask questions to the records like, hey, what did I choose before I came to Earth? Why did I choose my father? Why did I choose my mother? Like, what was I able to choose even? These questions are very easy for the records to answer. But also certain questions about past lives. Maybe you have a certain fear or a quirk or a knowing that nobody else in your family seems to have. And it's kind of unexplainable. There is a high chance that that can actually be from a past life. If you have excluded all the physical options and the gene options, the ancestral lines and all that, it might be coming from a past life. Now, this place is way higher in dimension and way higher in frequency. What that means is if you have a piano like this, I have a small piano here. Let's say this is the octaves that we live in. You go a couple of octaves up in frequency, and then you start to experience the Akashic record. So it's a very high frequency field. That also means that the emotions are way higher. The emotions, like emotions are also frequency state. For example, fear vibrates a lot lower than love or joy. Now, imagine that that also can go a couple octaves up, higher than joy, higher than bliss, higher than awakened enlightenment, just like high, 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 high. So when we connect with this field, we have a gateway to a place that is of a very high vibration. And that's what's really beautiful about learning to reach your Akashic records. It's actually, it just vibrates like incredibly high. So you have an access point that is always based in the highest love, in the highest joy, in the highest appreciation. And how awesome is that, especially right now, where so many people are in fear or in doubt or in worry, or, there's so many, there's a lot of chaos lately. A lot of people are in low frequency emotions. But if you have a practice that instantly shoots you up to an extremely high level of emotion, how amazing is that? And Akashic record reading is such a practice. And that's why it's such a gift to me, because I can be in any state, connect to the records, and I just feel like, whoa, they are so based in love. That's even almost incomprehensible to us humans, but it can be felt. We don't have to comprehend it with our minds. It can be felt. So it's a beautiful place. It records all of it. It records all of your lifetimes. So if you are curious on that, amazing. But there are way different ways to actually learn to use the records. And I only use 5% of it, maybe, when it comes to lifetimes. 95% of it, I use it through other times. I would love to share them with you. But first, I want to give you even a better visual of what the Akashic records is. Because the word Akasha comes from Sanskrit. It actually means ether or empty space or blue sky. It means like this beautiful, spacious etherness, like nothingness. It's hard to describe it. But the Akasha itself is all of the ether, while the Akashic records is a specific slit of reality. Just like we are a specific slit of reality, they are a specific slit of reality. So where are these records? Let's see where they currently are. Now, if this is our physical reality, this is our little bubble of reality, of life, of physical light, of all of it, just life, including the whole universe, all of the physical universe, right? Mars, Venus, like the sun, like, and all of the stars that you're seeing, that's physical reality. There's a lot of space, a lot of ether in physical reality. So around that, there's just an incredible amount of that space, that ether, which is way faster. It's so much bigger than physical reality, which can be called the Akasha. And in these Akasha, there are many different layers of being. There's, for example, the astral world, and there are just higher dimensions, the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension. There's even higher dimensional planets. So this Akasha can then be divided definitely into a couple of different energies again. You can say, okay, that vibration, that's where angelic beings live. Oh, that vibration, that is where my spirit guides live. That vibration is where I go to when I dream or astral travel. This vibration is where I go to when I do that, right? Like there's multiple vibrations, multiple octaves that we can go to. Now, the Akasha is what they tell me, the eighth dimension. And it really depends on how you measure it, because some say it's the 12th, but they tell me it's the 8th. So I will just say that to you. So it's a specific slit of reality, just like we are a specific slit of reality. Everything is interwoven anyway. Sometimes we have we think, oh, that's higher than us, like we want to look up. But it's up in vibration, but it's not necessarily in the sky. It's here. It's right here, right now. It's recording us all the time. The difference between them recording us and we actually connecting the Akashic records is, instead of going it from a one-way communication, we actually make it a two-way communication. So we can interact, we can start interacting. And that is what the practice of Akashic record reading is. Now, when you open the records, what then happens when you open that two-way communication, you start channeling. Akashic record reading is a channeling practice. You will become very good in channeling. And this was my first channeling practice. But then all the other forms of channeling have become very easy since then. And why was that? Because I was a computer scientist. I was critical towards all of this. But because the method that I'm going to show you in a moment was so strong, I knew I was connected with another vibration. I just felt it. It was like a physical feeling and buzzing. Because of that, when I started just typing or writing, and I asked a question, all of a sudden I just felt that my hand started writing on its own. And the more I was able to let go and the more I was able to surrender, the more profound information started appearing on the page. Like more profound information that I was reading in my spiritual teacher's books. And, like there was the absolutely profound things started happening. Also things that I already knew that were confirming, but also things that were really like, whoa, my mind would have never was able to write such a thing. And things that I wrote that didn't make sense started to make sense a couple days or a couple weeks later. And I started to go all of this, and I started to become better and better in understanding how energy flows through me out into the physical world. Because channeling, yes, you can be connected with spirit, but channeling is actually bringing it into our reality in the form of voice, in the form of written, or in the typing or painting. There are many different ways to channel. Even a lot of musicians are saying like, hey, this is not a song that I came up with. This song just moved through me. They will not give credit to their own songs, even though everybody else gives them credit, because they know it came from a field of knowledge, of wisdom, of information. So some people are naturally connected to this, but I wasn't. I needed a technique. And the technique, and this is truly the how to connect to the Akashic records. So how to open them. Now the technique that I used for this for a long time until I was able to do it without the records was called the prayer technique. And this is the most easiest way to open the records, because once you start doing these prayer multiple times, your body starts to increase in vibration, and you truly start to feel it. And when I became a teacher, I started channeling my own prayers, and they were even more powerful than the prayers that I practice with. And now, if you actually go into the Akashic Record School, I give there a lot of connection prayers. So people can open the records. And why do I give more than one? That's because these connection prayers resonate with different people differently. Some people like a strong, straight to the point connection, the other like a more poetic connection. Some are more resonant with galactic places like Arcturus or the Pleiades, while others are way more down to earth and they want to have a prayer that is maybe connected with Atlantis. I got you covered. Like I channeled prayers that were resonant with these different places. So whoever you are, you have at least one to resonate with. But it's also really nice to use them as different tools. For example, one I use for meditation, another one I use for video recording because it always seems to come through my voice. Another one I use for live questions and for lifestyle design. So because they resonate in different way, I am able to do this in different ways. But what is even more profound about the prayer, it's not a religious prayer. It's not just something like a dedication to God. The words are beautiful. They're definitely they're definitely divine, but what they are most powerfully is actually a technology. And that technology is what the Akashic Records called a vibrational key. A vibrational key. So there's a certain set of words, and words, just like notes on a keyboard, vibrate, right? Words vibrate. For example, the word vibration has a vibration, but the word joy has a vibration. The word divine has a vibration. The word sluggish has a vibration, right? They are different vibrations. Once you put these vibrations together in a certain sequence, you get what they call a vibrational key. And this is a technology that was downloaded from the Akashic Records. The first person that I know who downloaded it was Linda Howe. And then other people started to get initiated into the records, and some of these people started receiving their own prayers. I'm very lucky that I have that gift, but not everyone has that gift. Some have other gifts that I don't have. But these prayers are resonant and they do something. You feel different when you open them. You feel different when you use them. So that is what we use. But I teach my students that these prayers are just a beginning step. Eventually, the Akashic Records themselves will give you an even better technique. And they did that through me, and that's what I use most of the time. If you did a Q&A with me, you will see that I sometimes just spin my head and I just give one command and I get a shockwave in my body. And that's how I currently connect. It's a little bit more intense, definitely inside of me, but it's a lot quicker. So that's what they gave me. Now, they gave many of my students different ways. Some need to visualize, but it's still a vibrational key because they need to visualize a very specific structure and in a very specific order, and all of a sudden they connect to the records. Some have meditated so much that they are naturally able to access that. But this key and these prayers are even for people that don't have to meditate much. And that's why I like it so much. Like, I know when I connected with a prayer, I know I am connected. And when I know, that's nice, because when you try to channel your guides or your angels, but you don't have the senses yet to truly feel them, then you don't really know what you're doing. But if you connect with these prayers and you start feeling just like heat and a vibration and an energy that was just simply not there before, that's not something that the mind can make up, right? Yes, the mind can do all kinds of things, but if you all of a sudden all around you feel like a vibrant energy that is full of wisdom, that's not something that the mind can make up. And that's why I started liking it so much, because my critical mind started knowing how to use that. This is what I like so much. So if you actually want to access these prayers, if you want to have access to these prayers and you want to know how to work with them, I have a very special gift for you. And that special gift is actually that I'm currently having my new Akashic Record School, and I have it open for free. It is a pay whatever you can miss community. You can enter right now for free. I accept all kinds of energy exchanges. Even if you cannot miss anything right now, you're welcome. Because I'm on a mission to make the Akashic Records completely available to humanity. Like you see my enthusiasm, right? You see my enthusiasm in this. I love this. I am it's such a gift. Like my life has been enriched so much with this skill that for a long time I used to charge for this course. At the moment, still, this course is available on my website for $500. I updated the whole thing and I'm giving it right now for free access. So I want to ask you though, like you need to be ready to learn how to channel. You need to be ready to be open to the energetic realm. And that is a unique thing. It's not made for everybody. But if you feel there is resonance and you feel like, yes, I wanna have such a portal that connects to unconditional love. Yes, I wanna ask about my soul. Why am I here? What is this soul? What am I doing here? Like, why did I choose the country that I grew up in? Like, why am I currently having these things in my life? And why am I constantly attracting this pattern in my life? They know they look so different upon physical life than we can. They know exactly. So if that really feels like a calling, I would love to have you there. And you can go to school.com/akasha or click the link down below. You will find it in the description. And you will be initiated into the records, maybe even in the next couple of hours if you join right now. It is that easy. Like you can really learn it today and access it today, which is so exciting. I want to continue to make this video complete. I want to continue with talking about how the Akashic Records can be used in a lot of different ways. There are actually a million ways, but I put them in 3 categories, at least for the start, and eventually then you can branch out into all kinds of directions. The most familiar one, the one that most people get to know them from, is actually past lives, right? I want to learn, well, maybe I was living in Atlantis. You can learn that. And if you're a visual person, you will be able to see how you look like if you were a man or a woman and all of that. It takes a little bit of practice, but it will definitely happen. Now, another thing that is really powerful is actually to how I most of the time use them is learning them for following the most aligned path in this life. What do I need to do now to be in my soul's highest alignment? What can I embody today that will help me increase? Today they said you have to record 2 videos, and this is one of them. So I'm currently practicing what they have been guided me to do. They wanted me to make this video and another one that will be later on my YouTube. So, right, that is currently my alignment, but your alignment can be very different. It can be rest, it can be reflect, it can be take a step into your dream. Whatever it is, they will clearly be able to tell you how you can align yourself with your highest alignment. And this is what I use them most of the time for. Now, the other one that I really like it for, and I probably have to move my little with sound of it, is this one. Understanding the universe, understanding time, understanding what it means to be here. How does the dimensions work? How does connection with the light work? How does ascension work? Why are so many people remembering the new world? And what does that mean for Earth? Like these kind of questions. And that's also why I really love them most. So even though they were familiarized with the past lives, because it's very easy for them from that vantage point, from that vibration, it's very easy to see where our soul has been. But that's for me little to no of the use cases. The most of the use cases that I have are really about aligning myself and learning about the universe. Like what does timelines mean? What do dimensions mean? What is all these things? And when I ask these questions, like answers come out that are just more profound that I can read in the books, right? And I don't need technology for it. I don't need ChatGPT for it. I don't need anything for it. I just connect with a vibrational key and and there I can ask any question that I want and it comes flowing on my page. It's it's very special. It's a very unique thing. So these three ways is how I think most people start. But after that, you can do so many things. You can start painting with it. You can do readings for them, for other people. You can do past life retrievals. You can go on mission work and clear temples and clear holy places. That is something that I'm going to do next weekend in Scotland. There's just so many things that are available that you can do. You can even start a business, a spiritual business, like I'm doing, right? It's like beautiful ways of collaboration. They really love collaborating with us. They really love that. So, and maybe you're asking, like, why do they really love that? You know, like, why do they bother about this dimension? Now, actually, this dimension is very special. And I asked a question about that yesterday. And they said actually, like, two things are so profound. They said, first of all, your time is stretched. So you are able to feel the creative process and perceive the creative process under a big magnifying glass or a microscope. Because for them, creation is instant. Like the people that are the beings that are living in the Akashic records, for them, they have to think about it, it's there. Right? It's like instant. There is not like a thought process, but we are able to. Time is so slow here and so stretched that we have an idea, and then we sit with that idea for maybe a week or a month or a year, and then we take the final step and we start creating it and we start to build a network on it, and then the universe starts helping us a little bit with it, and then slowly such an idea comes into fruition, into manifestation. That's super unique because the creative process is a divine process. There's a reason why God is called the creator. It's a divine process. So by us being so stretched that we can see that, we are able to perceive the divine process under a microscope. And they are not able to do that. The records are not able to do that. Angels are not able to do that. We here right now have that ability to do that, which is very special. And they love to be in connection with us because they can then be more into contact with a being that is in the middle of such a creative journey. The other thing that they said yesterday, which was profound to me, never heard that before, was you have an ego. Okay, we all know we have an ego. And they said, but that's very profound because when you have an ego, you have something inside of yourself that constantly creates stories and also gives difficulty and resistance when it comes to you living your life. If everything was easy, life was very boring. But because we have an ego and we judge and we have opinions and we make it ourselves difficult, we start moving in a story. We start moving in a journey that is truly worthwhile. Just like a movie. If a movie was constantly like for 1.5 hours, you probably will not last for 10 minutes, right? Like if a movie was just high frequency, it's actually that the movie goes from something high to something shocking happens to he needs to go on a journey, and the journey is difficult and just more problems arise and more problems arise, and he's just fixing it and doing things, and then a little piece of light happened but it's snatched away, and he's even farther from home, and right, there's a lot of resistance and things going on, but eventually he gets there, or eventually he achieves it, or eventually the love relationship comes back together, whatever it is. That can only happen because we have egos. How fascinating. I never heard that before. But when I think about it, it's true. Because without egos, we will just be like animals. We will not really care about stories. We will just be in the moment, very connected, definitely, but not really, not really being aware of the stories we are here to play. So they find that fascinating that we have egos and stories. And that's why they love actually to connect with us. So that's really beautiful, and I never heard that before. That's, for me, very fascinating. I want to share one more thing in this video, and this is probably the most important thing of the whole video. Because when I started, I luckily had my partner and I had a friend of ours, Dana, and we were able to start this together around New Year, which was really nice. But eventually I was the only one that really got hooked on it. And they really loved it too, but Dana already was working with it. She just didn't know it was called the Akashic Records. My partner was sometimes joining, but not all the time, not daily. And for a lot of times, I practiced alone until a friend of mine, Marcus, actually said, like, "Oh my God, you're in the Akashic Records." I have a friend of mine who is connected with the Akashic Records, and he connected us, and they put me in a group of a lot of experienced Akashic Record readers. And after that, I just was seeing what was possible and what was available, and it was a little bit overwhelming, but also I felt my growth going from there like skyrocket. And it has been such a important point in my life that I met that group, and I had somebody that was 20 years in the record, and somebody that was 5 years in the record, somebody that was 2 years in the records, and I just was a couple months into it, and I was like, wow, this is very special. So when they started saying you have to become a teacher to this, I said, okay, I want to be make sure two things are there. I want to make sure I bring people the absolute fastest into the records because I learned everything from you, and it would be weird to not give it to my students. Some people what they need to have 2 days for that before you can connect. For me, it just takes a couple of hours. Within the first 2 hours of the initiation, you are already having your first practice session with the records. And that was very important to me. Like, please give me the essential information and make sure that that they after that can just ask you, which are the records. Because what better source of information to have that actually just the records themselves instead of somebody channeling the records. So that was the first thing. It was very important for me. The second thing was community. I wanted to make sure that everybody in my space would be able to practice. Everybody in my space would be able to have a nice, powerful, and beautiful place where they were able to meet people that just started, but also practice with people of 5 years, people with 3 years, 2 years of experience. And we are now practicing every day. Actually, in an hour, I need to move into my practice session. So if you would love to connect, like I just said, go to school.com/Akasha. There I offer the Akashic initiation and a beautiful community of practitioners, of Akashic record readers. You're completely welcome. You will receive the prayers. You will be there welcomed with open arms and with a very high frequency field of information at your disposal. Thank you for watching this all the way to the end. And yeah, I'm looking forward to practice with you and to see you inside. It's such a gift. And may this also be a beautiful gift in your own life and on your path. Thank you so much for being with me on this video. Thank you so much for being interested. They are calling you, the records, and this might be the time to step in.